suppose maybe you ought to go back home and crawl under your bed. It's not safe out here. It's wondrous, with treasures to satiate desires both subtle and gross. But it's not for the timid.
All right, welcome to Trivial Debates. Captain's Log, Stardate, 2025, 09.02. We have entered the neutral zone of pure debate. All right. Where thoughts are the final frontier. Our mission, to explore strange new questions, to seek out new opinions and bold perspectives, and to boldly argue where no one has argued before. This is Trivial Debates, Star Trek The Next Generation edition. All right, today we have three contestants who have beamed aboard from across the quadrant. Some very far, some very close, and some in the middle. All right, but anyway, their mission to prove their tactical debating skills on our holodeck arena. That's right. Will one of them leap to the top of the Argus array, or will they crumble under the pressure of a timed rebuttal? This month's contestants are Mr. Dave Mader, captain of the Live Long and podcast. His insight navigates the nebula of Star Trek lore with precision. Welcome,
Close
Dave.
enough. Yes. Hello, Jody. I'm here to win points and win this whole match.
Win points and things.
Let's just
All
get
right.
down to it, right?
Well, I still have other people to introduce, Dave, so you'll have to wait.
All right,
And
fine.
next we have the featured lady, the chief operations officer of Long Live and Podcast, and guitarist for the Galpines.
I don't know
She
about Long Living Podcast. What's that?
Did I say that? Oh, sorry. Live Long and Podcast. It's a different show together. I'm running the other one, which is the
Oh, okay.
alternate reality one. That's the Mirror
Gotcha.
Universe.
Mirror
one.
Universe.
Yes, where I pretend to be Dave. But anyway, chief operations officer of Live Long and Podcast, not mine, and the guitarist for the Galpines. She provides a unique harmonic frequency to this subspace rhapsody. She is Heather Naduzzi.
Hello, all. I'm delighted to be here, and I can't wait to kick all your asses today.
Woo, them's
Right on.
fighting words.
Let's go.
All right, and last but definitely not least, Mr. Head of TrekCulture Department and author of such stellar novels as Down to the Bridge and Shadows of the Stars, podcaster extraordinaire, Sean Ferrick. Whoop whoop!
I am here to prove that it is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose.
That's good. I like that one. All right. And of course, I'm your host, Jody Simpson, better known as Captain Jody Luke Picard for this podcast. And you're obviously your host for today. And I've lost my lines. Okay, there they are.
Hi, Sam.
Prepared to test.
Sam's
our
alive.
crew. Sam's alive. Yes, we haven't seen Sam in a while. Good for Sam. All right.
Yeah, that's right, Sam.
Rooting for
Thank
Heather.
you for your support.
Even with Dave and Sean here, you're rooting for her? All right.
That's
Well,
right.
Anyway. Well, you know, the man knows what he wants. All right. Anyway, prepare to test our crew to their limits. The holodeck awaits. It's time for Trivial Debates. Ooh, there's the bell. All right. So, guys, are we ready? Teas in hand.
Born ready.
Pants are off. We're all good to go here.
Bring it
Well,
on.
in that respect, I've been ready all day.
All right. First question. Movies. If you could make a standalone movie with one character from Star Trek The Next Generation, who would be the focus and what would the plot be? All right. I think we're going to start with Mr. Dave Mader.
Okay. Am I up?
You are.
My time
You're
has
on.
started?
Yep.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah, you go ahead. I got to pull up the timer, but yeah, just go ahead.
All right. Jody, I went with a little unconventional on this one. One you may not have picked, but I think that this character deserves a follow-up, a sequel to their story, and that character is Dr. Catherine Pulaski from the season 2 of Star Trek The Next Generation. I would like to see something about what she does after she leaves the Enterprise. Does she go back to Starfleet Medical? Does she investigate some mysterious outbreak on a remote Federation colony? Perhaps she's getting past her past biases against artificial life forms. particularly, maybe you could tie that in with the synth band we saw that was introduced in the 2380s. That the actress, Dinah Muldaur, still alive. She got no proper send-off in The Next Generation, compared to a lot of other characters who get, like, nice little sweet goodbyes, like O'Brien or Wesley or Ro Laren. And there was no proper end for Pulaski. I want to see a standalone film with her, and to get some more closure to that character. That, just coming off of our review of Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2 on Live Long and Podcast, this character I found very endearing. She was an important part of the team for that whole season, and she's always kind of yada-yada'd.
All right. Thanks, Dave. All right. Next up, we have Miss Heather herself. Come on, Heather. What do you have for me?
Okay, no surprise to anyone who's seen me on any of the podcasts, but my movie would be called Daughter of the Fifth House. And it is a gritty prequel that follows the young life and hardships of everyone's favorite Betazoid fashion icon, Ms. Lwaxana Troi herself. We would see whirlwind romance between young Lwaxana and Curzon Dax on Trill, her first diplomatic posting. She breaks his heart when she chooses young Starfleet Lieutenant Ian Andrew Troi over Dax, but only she knows the true reason. Section 31 or something. Anyway,
She was with Dax? She was with Curzon Dax?
Listen, you'll have to watch my movie. Okay, Dave?
Yeah,
So-
she's not just giving it all for free here, Dave.
Yeah, it's secrets. It's very secretive given that it's Section 31. Anyway, Lwaxana just kicks ass and serves like 50 different looks, and they're all incredible, and she eats it up. The end. Credits.
And just the hair and makeup budget alone for that movie would be brutal. But anyway.
Cost more than Avatar.
And next up we have Mr. Sean.
Okay, I would like to see a movie exploring a character who has been quite unfairly maligned in all of Star Trek, and that is Captain Edward Jellicoe. I believe, as do many, that Jellicoe did nothing wrong. He was just quite a different commander. I want to explore his command. I want to talk about his early days commanding the Cairo, and I would place him in charge of the task force that was charged with protecting Setlik 3 during the Cardassian Wars. Because, of course, he's the man to deal with the Cardassians during Chain of Command, not Riker. Riker, you back down, you handsome devil, you. What I want to see is a disaster occur under his watch that makes him so unsure going into Chain of Command, but also he is an experienced commander. He learns through loss, and to help give a little bit of depth to this man who we know who is a captain and goes on to be an admiral, who we get to see a little bit more of in Prodigy.
Oh, and get that fish out of the ready room.
Yeah. No fish in the ready room, guys. All right. Well, all three of those, honestly, I would watch. All right. And that makes things harder for me because I thought there would at least be one terrible one there. But yeah, y'all came up with great ones. I'm going to start with Dave, though. Dave, tell me, why does anybody care about that character? Why
My
would anybody
character over
care?
their characters?
Yeah.
My-
Why would
my
that one
character.
be the one that gets the money?
Well, my
cheddar.
character has the most on-screen time of all three of these. Catherine Pulaski being a major character, technically a guest star for the entirety of season 2. But there's a lot more connection with the audience to Pulaski being a main character that has no proper resolution. We brought back everybody. We brought back Tasha Yar. We brought back Wesley at different times. And this is a character that gets not even a mention. Not even like, hey, I got a subspace email or something from Pulaski. She's doing this these days or whatever.
gone.
And it's just gone, and it's not right. And I think that she's unfairly maligned because she is damn right heroic in many instances in season 2 and is getting unfairly treated. I think with Jellicoe, I wouldn't mind seeing that, but like the guy's kind of a dick. That was kind of reinforced in Prodigy, in his conflicts with Admiral Janeway in that show. And with Lwaxana, I think her being a non-Starfleet character is going to make that a tougher movie to take place. And she met Jadzia Dax and Ezri Dax, I believe, on Deep Space Nine. There's no connection there to Curzon ever mentioned, so I feel like it's a bit.
I think that's sexist, Dave. You don't like Roxana because she's a woman. That's the only reason.
Wow.
And
Pulaski's a woman.
no, she's a boring woman is the issue. It would be a franchise killer if we made a movie about Pulaski.
What do you think, Sean?
Oh.
I don't know. Franchise killer. No, I think we could have a good. She doesn't need a redemption, but she can be the hard ass that I don't think they ever really got to with Nechayev. I think, for example, respecting Nechayev, that should have been a Pulaski character. I think because they'd set the groundwork. I think having a strong, not particularly likable female character like that, I think there is an absolute cry for that. Because, we like Roxana. We're definitely going to like that one. We love Jellicoe. Jellicoe's wonderful. I know. Stop. But, but yeah, Pulaski. Actually, hang on. Am I defending my movie or Dave's? Wait, no, hang on. No,
Go ahead. Go
That's
on.
how I trick you.
You were doing
I
really
trick
good
you
for Dave
against
there.
each other.
Yeah.
I think we might have to re-explain this to Sean how this works, but past that.
Everyone else's ideas are great.
I think
Well done.
That's the nice thing, but we don't want to be nice here, Sean.
I
We're
think
gonna
that
have to
all
get a
three of
little
these
harder.
characters are polarizing to varying degrees,
They
but
are.
I think that to my point, that my character being a main character, a main cast member, and a core part of the crew is the most natural and obvious spin-off or follow-up to do.
I want to hear some more from Sean because I feel he hasn't been representing himself very well. So
I think so. I think the handy thing is that Diana Muldaur doesn't want to do it, and Majel Barrett's dead. So I think what we should do is go with Ronnie Cox.
but you know who's alive?
Still
Ronnie
alive,
Cox.
but he's still acting and is in Star Trek still. So I think we're crying out to explore his story. Plus, we know he can do animation very well. Having appeared in Prodigy. I don't think he's dickish. I think he is a great example of Starfleet off the Enterprise. He is a great example of the more regimented, the more militaristic, if you like, take on Star Trek, which is obviously that argument has gone back to the original day. Is it a military? Is it not? Well, Jellicoe's is a military, and in my idea, you can see why. And, you can bring in, obviously, Miles O'Brien could be part of that story if we talk about Satellite 3, and, of course, Maxwell, who was vindicated softly.
Oh, I don't even know how to vote on this one. So
Ironically, all three of these actors were born the same year, like Majel Barrett, Ronnie Cox, and Dinah Muldaur.
Didn't know that.
And Ronnie Cox and Dinah Muldaur being the same age now.
Wow, didn't know that. Well, that was a great fun fact. It's not going to get you anywhere, Dave, but
That's passion and creativity, Jody.
that is passion and creativity. That is true.
Just the fact. Really.
Heather, why does anybody want to see anything else to do with the character that, even though you think everybody loves, there's a lot of people who hate on that character? So.
You can say the same.
And don't tell me it's a sexist thing. I want to hear something other than that.
No, that was a joke, although I do think all of you are sexist.
Oh, okay.
So, not you, Sean. Not you.
Oh, thanks, Heather.
You're welcome. I think that
Yeah.
Roxana is such a fun character, and we have had a lot of darker, grittier Trek. So I think something focusing on maybe more like the fun, the lighter side, like episodes like Data's Day and those sorts of more lighthearted romps. And also, I don't know if any of you have ever read the novel Q-in-Law, but I would love to see
I started
that
it and I never finished it.
screen. Luoxana, spoiler,
But Dave
Luoxana,
will tell you that's not canon.
it's not canon, but this is a new movie that we're making. So it would
Oh, I see.
become canon
It would
in
be
my
becomes
movie.
canon.
Luoxana
All right.
gets the Q
So
powers
then,
and
and
just
then Dave will cry.
fuck
All right.
you all over the
Wait,
internet.
you're giving her the cube hours now too.
Yes,
Oh,
that's correct, Dave.
wow.
Jeez.
Wow, this is getting
All right.
off the rails here.
All right, I got to make a decision because we got to keep going here. Even though, honestly, all three of these I would watch. I'm not totally sure I would like some of them, but
Can I make one final counter
sure.
argument here? Friend of the show, Steve Shives, right?
Yep.
Who you often agree with, Jody.
I do.
He loves Jellicoe.
I
He
do
likes
as well.
Pulaski. He hates.
I don't like Pulaski.
He hates looks on it.
Well, I don't know who this Steve Shives is, but I think he sounds like a sexist.
We'll send him a memo.
We'll be sure to send him info.
Please
on that,
let him
Heather.
know.
And by the way, you will be canceled from all future things with him. But anyway, all right, I got to give a thing. I loved all three of you guys. I think all three of those things I would definitely watch. Dave, I'd probably fall asleep during yours, mind you.
It's going to be an amazing medical thriller.
Yeah, I doubt it. And Sean, I absolutely love that character, and I completely agree with you. But I think the argument was better for Heather, so I think Heather's going to take the point.
Yes,
but I will say, all three of them I definitely would watch for sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and no, I'm not assuming. I'm pretty sure that you are. Anyway, next up is the TV question. If you could take one episode from another Star Trek TV series, cannot be TNG, and redo it with the TNG cast, what would it be and how would you adapt it? And we're going to start off this time with Heather.
Okay, so I chose the Deep Space Nine episode, Who Mourns for Morn? And my version would be called, Who's Crying for Guinan?
All right.
Guinan faked her own death to the great dismay of many colorful characters from her past, present, and future. Lady Q, Dr. Thalar, and Mirror Universe Kalar fight over who is the rightful heir to Guinan's Galaxy-class hat collection. She shows up at the end with Morn in tow, explaining that they needed to disappear for a while to evade his creditors. Because as we all know, Morn is a very shady character. Then we would also have the DS9 crossover, which we love. And they unexpectedly fell in love under the beautiful Rysian moons. They marry in the spring, and Morn's vows bring the entire quadrant to tears. The vows are an hour long.
And this
Morn
is just
never shuts up.
And Morn he's insatiable. You just can't stop him. All right. Thank you very much, Heather. All right, Sean, take it away.
I would like to see a TNG version of the Enterprise episode Similitude. Even though, right, I'll get it out of the way. Similitude can be argued as being a remake of Tuvix. I would say Tuvix is in a league all of its own. Similitude is one of those classic Trek examples of what will we do to see the mission through. But what it has is you have Archer and Trip are such close friends. I want to take that away. I want to see Picard, who is not really close friends with his crew in the way that some of the other captains are, have to make that decision. And I want to see the other crew, particularly because in my mind, it would be Geordi, and how a character like Data would rationalize the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, and how he would argue for what is effectively having this character put to death to save Geordi, and how he would rationalize it.
That's
coming through the fun.
It's going to be a bit of a downer, but
yeah,
it'll still be fun. Yeah, fair enough. All right, Dave.
All right, now Jody, I know that I'm giving myself an uphill battle here with you,
probably,
but hear me out. What I want to do is the Strange New Worlds episode Charades, but with Worf. If you remember in that episode Charades, that's one where Spock has to go from being half Vulcan, half human.
I believe we used AI for this, maybe.
Perhaps. Okay, so Worf is accidentally
no, we didn't.
We did.
Photoshop, baby.
I gotta get through my pitch here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Worf is accidentally transformed into a human by a mischievous alien race. He loses his Klingon instincts, strength, and his sense of honor. And the crew has to help him navigate human emotions, etiquette, cuisine. He's horrified by his new love of chocolate. Meanwhile, a diplomatic crisis looms, and Worf has to bluff his way through a Klingon ritual as a human. So, it's got great comedy beats. Worf tries yoga and hates it. Then he cries during a soap opera and insists it was battle rage. Then he gets drunk on synthale and sings Klingon operas off key, which makes him very depressed. And Jody, I know you're not the biggest Worf fan, but it's a roast of Worf, not a celebration. So he gets to be the butt of the joke. You're turning his stoicism into a punchline.
You can have a couple extra seconds because we took some of yours away.
Right. And how many times does Worf say, "I don't do this, Klingons don't do that"? Him as a human would be hilarious.
Klingons never bluff. Klingons do not surrender.
Right, and all the things that Worf does not like to do, right? Like he does not play with toys.
I do not play with toys.
Well, maybe this human Worf would.
All right.
So just think about all the great things.
All right.
Okay, and just to clarify from producer side, that photo of Worf is of Michael damn it. Anyway, it's Michael Dorn. It's from a photo of him directing. And because he had to wear makeup during his directing, that's just him in makeup directing. So I just
I've seen that
cool.
Photoshop.
All right.
Yeah.
I've never seen that photo before. I just assumed it was because it was so out of place. But pretty awesome. All right. Well, all of you, again, obviously we have the top-notch crew here because I'm already stumped again because all of them are good pitches. Let's start with Heather. Heather, I know yours is more of a comical type romp, I guess is a good way to say it, especially when hats are the main focus. Hats
are not the main focus. Susie Plaxton playing 3 characters fighting over hats is the main focus.
You know what? You've already sold me on that for sure because I'm a big fan of hers.
Plus, we would get to see Kalar again because Kalar was so unfairly taken from us after only 2. Was she only in 2 episodes?
Yeah.
It was only 2. Her impact was so big. I just thought she was such a wonderful character. So it would be really fun to get to see her again. Guinan is always a treat. And just madcap shenanigans on the Enterprise. We all love that kind of episode.
We do have to have the Guinan from Picard, though, right?
Oh, yeah. She would be there as well.
Okay.
Timelines.
All right. Fair enough. Sean, you clearly have the downer of the episodes here.
You all are too happy, so I need to strip that away. We've got to get rid of comedy. Remember, take it. Charade, Strange New Worlds. No comedy. Star Trek is not allowed to be a good time. It's supposed to be about making you ask the big questions. It's about you want to get something that looks like LeVar Burton, and you want to be like, that has to die. We have to kill that. I want Data to cry a yellow tear. That's what this is about, and it's about Picard being the one to be like, yeah, well, you see, number one, we can't really kill him again. Setting up the precedent for Janeway to then subsequently be all like, oh, captains just kill the people. That's what we do in this situation. It's fine. Like, there's not even a whole thing. Now, 100%, we got Data with the yellow tears. You got to get crying people so that years later, after this, some very nice person can edit all these scenes to a YouTube video for people to just watch and cry on a Friday night.
Oh, there you go. How did you know what I was doing on Friday night? Anyway.
All right. Jody, Dave. You want Worf turned into a human for just the comedic chops of it all, just for the punchlines, just for the roast.
You know how much I love gimmick episodes, Dave.
You love gimmick episodes, but it's not even a gimmick episode. It's a character exploration with Worf having to bluff his way through a whole Klingon ritual, not knowing how to do it. We saw in Enterprise, a show I know you're a big fan of, Jody.
I am.
That was that whole episode where the Klingons get the augment virus, right? Mm-hmm. And how it does really change them to get that human DNA. There's that Klingon woman who talks about experiencing fear for the first time since she was a child. And I think we can really get into some interesting things in Worf, who normally is Mr., the boss. He's big, large, in charge. He's got these swinging the mech left. He's taking down Borg drones left and right. You take away that Klingon testosterone and DNA and everything else. Like, who's under all of that? And exploring that, I think, would be really interesting.
All right. Well, we got a minute left. Anybody else have anything to say about the other ones?
Data's yellow tears. That's what this. That's what it means. And also, for some reason, Spot's in there. We got to get Spot in there as well. You're going to deny Spot.
You're not going to kill
Spot to the audience.
Though,
I mean,
Spot perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we need that long of a poem in there, but what can you do? All right. I think I've made a decision, even though, again, very hard. Just on pure argument alone, there was 2 that stood out for me and one that didn't. I won't separate them, Heather. But the this one I'm going to give to Dave, just on his enthusiasm for this. He also really risked it by going after something with Worf in it, because I am not a fan of the character. So
if I could cry
get
a
a lot of
yellow tear right now, I would.
Would it be yellow?
Yes, it would.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yes.
Anyway,
Amazing,
Dave
Jody.
wins the point.
Yes.
Delicious.
Delicious. All right. Next up, we have music. Whenever our commander-in-chief here does it. There we go. It's coming. The title card's any second. All right, there we go. If you can switch Riker's trombone to any other instrument, regardless of what it is, what would it be, and why would Riker even choose it? And we're going to start this one off with Mr. Sean.
Now, okay, so as we know, Riker's into a wee bit of jazz, and has only been reinforced by his appearance in Star Trek Lower Decks as well. So I think let's not stray too far from that family music, and let's give him a nice upright double bass. He is the kind of person who would sit there, it would rest ever so gently against his tall frame. He would slip his arms around that while making absolute eye contact with every woman in the room, and possibly the men. It's the 24th century, just go with it. And he would, his fingering would be exquisite. You know it would. There is no universe where he would not have complete another command. It could be a thick string. It could be a slightly thinner string. This man knows what he's doing. You would feel the vibration
Heather's reaction
from the floor all the way up into that beard and beyond. That is why Riker must play the double bass.
The beard and beyond. I like that.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I think you've already sold Heather. I think you're okay there.
I vote for Sean.
You vote for Sean. Okay.
I would, this is one of those times where going first really helped, because, I wish I had said his fingering is exquisite first. I really considered a couple instruments for Riker, considering the trombone being his obvious one that he does use. I thought about saxophone, but I said, no, that's boring, and it's brass instrument. And similar to what Sean has here, I'm going with acoustic guitar to free up Riker for the ability to sing. He doesn't play like the music. He plays heart, and nothing says "come hither" like a soulful strum among the stars. It's more intimate and versatile for intimate settings. Riker will serenade Troy and play duets with Data, and it's the Picard with a flute moment, but sexier. Imagine Riker just owning that lounge in 10 forward. Like with the trombone, his mouth is tied up, but this would allow him to give us some beautiful sounds, for those blue eyes to connect with the audience, and for people's hearts to just melt. And that's why Riker would be the amazing, sensitive, strumming guitarist here on the Enterprise.
All right, thanks, Dave. All right, and Heather, if you have a moment to get away from the fingering technique of Will Riker, perhaps you could give us your answer.
First of all, Dave, the saxophone is a woodwind instrument, not brass, just FYI.
Technicalities, okay.
So my answer to this question was Riker would never forsake the trombone. Bone is life, bone forever, no notes. But the producer
Plus, it's funny to say bone.
The producer told me that was unacceptable.
Okay.
So I said, fine, slide whistle. It's like a portable trombone that he can keep in his pocket. It requires some fancy tongue work, which we know our boy Riker is very good at. I mean, maybe y'all don't know, but I definitely know. And I just think he would always be able to carry it with him in case a jam ever arose or he wanted to charm somebody at a moment's notice. Riker is always hot and ready with the slide whistle.
I can see him doing it for sure.
Yeah, okay. don't know where to go from there.
Jody
Honestly,
is legit blushing.
Look
right
at
now.
how red I am. I never laugh this hard during one of these. So you guys are doing fantastic.
Hashtag boner for life here. For
Yes.
Fingering
for
and
life,
tonguing
yeah.
into a three-way discussion.
You think
I
you're
think
red now? Check out some of Riker's explicit fingering. Then you'll be really red.
Oh my.
Oh, jeez. All right, 4 minutes. I'm not even going to ask any questions. I just want you guys to smash on the other answers. So go ahead.
Of all, Riker would not play the guitar. Can you imagine him butchering Nightbird on that and just like,
He would.
Anyway, here's Wonderwall. It would be
No, it wouldn't be Wonderwall. He would play something.
no. That's the only song he knows how to play on guitar. Is Wonderwall. He might be able to play like half a wagon wheel, and then everybody's like, "Bro, put that away." And O'Brien just beams it out of his hands into space, and they're like, "No, thank you."
See, I think it's got to be a double bass for two reasons. It's because he's got to play a duet, and you've got to have, I think, Worf sitting beside him playing the slide whistle, and it's going to go ooh as Riker does the Riker maneuver over the double bass.
Okay.
Because you know he'd manage it as well.
Dave, we got to hear from you, Dave. You got to defend that guitar.
Come on, like the guitar is like one of the most popular instruments in the world, and for good reason. Right? It's like what all frontmen would use. It's what Riker would use in the lounge if he wasn't going to use the trombone. I agree, he'd be boner for life. But this particular scenario, that's not an option. So he's going to go for his next best thing. What is going to give him the best connection to the men and the ladies in the audience? Let's go for it. And, that's going to be the guitar. People are going to be like, give me that full, complete experience, The only other one I considered was like piano, because, you want that whole arrangement possibility, You want him to be able to stand on his own. I think with the bass alone, he can't really proceed without an accompanying band. And with the slide whistle, this is not a serious instrument. This is
I guess you've never played a slide whistle, Dave.
No,
and it shows.
And it shows.
I'm very ignorant and closed-minded about my attitude with slide whistles.
You really are.
But they're mostly used as a butt to a joke, right? Like a bit of a punch.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't stop Riker. I think it was, see, because I considered the piano, and I like it because, again, if, with the piano, you got to have very dexterous fingers, and they can get a lovely deep sound out of that. And you can get a lovely deep thronging vibration from a double bass as well. But with a guitar, you're basically talking a one-night stand with somebody who's never done anything before. It's like, was it good for you? That's kind of Riker on a guitar.
Complexity for the fingering of it all, Jody. It's the guitar has got 6 strings and the bass only has 4.
Yeah, but they're bigger.
Riker doesn't need 6. He can do it with 4.
All right. Unless anybody else has anything to say, I've already made up my mind. No. Anybody?
No, vote for Sean.
All right. We are definitely voting for Sean. All right.
Yes.
Congratulations, Sean. From the minute you started to the minute you ended, you did great. Not that everybody else didn't either. But I will say Heather's fluctuation definitely helped you more than it helped her. Anyway. All right.
So now we need the Will Riker, Thomas Riker, and Mira Riker trio on the guitar, double bass, and slide whistle.
Honestly, I just want to see. I want to see the scenario that he mentioned with Worf playing a slide whistle. I think that would be fantastic. That would actually make me love the character more, quite honestly.
But is it human Worf?
Hey, Worf, guess what? I'm marrying Troy.
All right. Anyway, next up, we have the sports question. Invent and pitch a new sport using only equipment found on the Enterprise D. Now, I'm not expecting big winners here. I'm just going to let you know now. This was kind of
We're all good at sports, Joe, and we know a lot.
I'm not. Except for golf. I'm okay with golf.
We like sports for many science reasons.
All right. Anyway, we're going to start this one off with the sport extraordinaire man himself, Mr. Dave.
Jody, yeah, I got cred here in this category, right?
You do have cred. Yes, you have championships and everything.
Yes, I'm reigning softball champion. Okay. Well, I thought long and hard about this. What are the equipment around on the Enterprise? And I'm going for something a little outside of the box. A competitive culinary sports show played in 10 Forward. It's called Replicator Roulette. And the contestants use the replicators to generate random ingredients, kind of like in that show, Chopped, right? Where you have to get a random basket, and they have to create edible dishes.
Iron Chef, yeah.
Yeah, that are judged by a panel. My panel is going to be Guinan, Troy, and Worf, right? And they're going to award points for taste, creativity, and presentation, kind of like Trivial Debates, but things. And the losers have to eat the worst dish. So it's going to be timed rounds. There's going to be a physical challenge to it where you have to plate under the turbulence of the fast nature of it all. Choosing replicator codes wisely, and the trash talk will be coming around from all things. Oh, kind of like, okay, I'll come back in rebuttal.
All right. Thanks, Steve. Next up, Heather.
My sport is very sporty. It's called tricorder geocaching. Crew members hide caches throughout the ship, and others have to find them to score points. There's a weekly league with the leaderboard posted at the start of Alpha Shift Monday. The prize for top spot is insufferable bragging. Everyone has to listen to you when you're the leader. Barkley has been absolutely dominant this season, and everyone is fed up with his helpful tips and tricks. Worf likes to cause chaos by taking the caches and hiding them elsewhere. This is built into the game, so if you get tricked, too bad for you. You lose. And I think everybody would have a terrible time playing this game, so that's why it's only like Barkley and a handful of other nerds that do it.
So this is like the Pokemon Go of
Pokemon Go, but dumb and boring.
Okay. You're selling it.
All right. Thank you very much, Heather. I don't think I've ever enjoyed a Trivial Debates more than this one. All right, Sean, you're up.
Okay, so for my sport, I am going to invent. It is like a combination bungee jumping, base jumping, but you've got to do it between the saucer section and the drive section, which means my sport can only be done on the Enterprise D because you've got to separate the saucer section for it to actually work. So what you do is you form a static warp shell around the ship in which you can create as much or as little atmosphere as you like to add or take away the gravity involved here. It is a high danger sport, which we know Starfleet does because how many kids have been killed in Parisi squares this week for the lols. But from this one, you can literally start at the back of that shuttle bay, run, launch yourself off, and if you're super duper lucky, as you fall down, Leah Brahms and Geordi might look horrified as you smack into a Galaxy's Child perched on the back of the Enterprise D's neck.
Oh, man. This is getting too much. All right. Wow. I'm like crying here, guys. All right. This is going to be interesting because all of these I would definitely at least watch. I don't know if I'd partake in them all. Out of all of them, I think the nerdiest one is probably Heather's. Heather, why is it that yours would be better than these?
Because who wants to go jumping off the back of the ship? Like, not everybody is a Riker. I mean, yes, me too, right? But not everyone is a Riker. Not everyone can do cool maneuvers, okay? Some of the people on the Enterprise are indoor cats. And they need to play games like tricorder geocaching. They got their little tricorder and they're going to press the little buttons and they're going to get a big hit of dopamine when they find a cache that Barkley hid that says, "Oh, good job, loser." So it's a game that's accessible to everyone, unlike Saucer Jump Death Trap.
But don't forget Replicator Roulette. That is also accessible to everyone because everyone has to eat and everyone can appreciate different combinations of different foods, especially from different worlds. Like all of a sudden you're dealing, I gotta make like an Andorian souffle, but you throw in some ingredient from, I don't know, Cestus 3 that's poisonous, and you have to know that. You have to use knives, Jody. You got to use different things, and then you got to impress these pretty tough judges. You know, like who's gonna be tougher than Guinan, Worf, and Troy on this panel?
Well, I think Worf has already proven that he'll eat almost anything.
Well, once you're finished eating all the poison from losing at Replicator Roulette, you can throw yourself off the back of the ship and you're good.
And
games together.
Oh,
on,
you
John,
see,
get in here.
that's the funny thing now about saucer jumping as well, because unlike the extreme ableism presented by geocaching there, not everyone's a Riker, oh, I see you, and the exclusionary replicator roulette, everybody eats, oh, is data a joke to you? Everyone on the can take part in my sport because, as I said, we can choose the level of difficulty. We can include space-bound beings as well, which makes the fact that also that mine is the only one that requires the Enterprise D, as opposed to tricorders, which are standard issue throughout all of Starfleet, and replicators, which are standard issue throughout all of Starfleet, but only the Enterprise D and other ships in Galaxy class have a saucer that you can separate, that you can tie it to as well, and tying everything back to the wonderful Riker, who's sitting there fingering away in his double bass. He said, we should depressurize the shuttle bay, and while we're at it, that can make a good fun sport as well.
He's there now. No, he's going to Replicator Roulette. That's the show he's going to go watch in 10.
He's going nowhere near Replicator. He's going to butcher some eggs, and Worf's on board with that.
To pull off this base jumping off the back of the saucer section, you would have to do so many technical things, like creating that limited atmosphere, that static warp bubble. This is like when you could just beam down to a planet and base jump off like a cliff or something.
But that wouldn't include technology on board the Enterprise D.
No,
the assignment.
A little bit of a
like,
stab
keep in
there.
mind, like if you're like, let's say the Enterprise D was caught like Voyager, like in the Delta Quadrant, you need entertainment, and I think like something like a cooking show could be like a real draw, like brings you back. It's always got new combinations, new ingredients, new contestants, new approaches.
New catastrophes. People are going to die from both of your games, and you know who's going to die in mine? Nobody, except maybe from boredom, which is a pretty nice death, I think.
I mean, living to death is not too bad as well, I guess. The funny thing you said about Dave about kind of what if it was lost like Voyager and the Delta Quadrant? Well, no one aboard the Enterprise D would be bloody stupid enough to fly into the Badlands anyway, so that wouldn't happen. Right. So I think we can have a nice, fun tournament jumping between the Enterprise D's saucer section and drive section. And if you want to play it on really extreme mode, you can go Yamato mode, because that's a bit of a bigger distance.
What's is it distance? Is that like how you win the sport?
I don't have to answer that because the time's run out.
All right. Again, you guys have gone far beyond what I thought you would do. I was just thinking you guys would be like, oh, let's go jump barrels or something and watch Worf get cringy. But anyway, all right. I think I've made up my mind, even though I would honestly partake in all of these things. Well, maybe not the saucer jump, but I'm still going to give it to you anyway, Sean, because I think it was the most in but out of the box thing as well. So, but points to if I could give out other points, I would definitely give everybody one because that was good, and I probably can do that, but I'm not going to do it, and I don't care. All right, let's move on. All right, history question now. If you could write a 2-part episode like Time Zero in any period in time that hasn't been done in the franchise previously, what time or event would your story center around? And somebody screwed up the title on that one. And describe the basic plot, not describe the basic plot. But anyway, describe the basic plot.
He's just ragging on you.
Yeah, our producer needs to learn how to spell check and maybe text some grammar. But anyway, we're going to start.
You're known for being immaculate in that department.
I absolutely am, and I don't even know why you're doing that. -2 points. All right. Anyway, Dave's now -1. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, Heather, you're up.
So my 2-part episode would be that the gang travels back in time to 1990s Aspen, Colorado. Okay. Where they attend skiing lessons and sexy après ski parties while trying to recover secret Romulan snowmaking technology and blend in with the locals without being detected. Can you imagine the fashion? Neon onesie ski suits for everyone. Picard would be doing the Picard maneuver. He would have a 2-piece, so he could do the Picard maneuver with his outfit. And of course, hijinks ensue. Upon return to the Enterprise D, all skiing programs are immediately deleted by Worf, who reminds us he is not a merry man or an icy man.
Or an icy man. All right.
I love this photo with the Enterprise.
That photo is
D
fantastic.
over Aspen.
I
Well
might
done.
need to keep that one. Yeah. That,
Next
of
Gen
course,
goes
is
to the Sundance Film Festival or something.
basically, yeah, that's basically the plot. But
And also that South Park episode where they go to Aspen and the timeshares, it's got a lot of that too.
oh, there you go. All right, all right. Next up, Sean.
In my two-part episode, the crew of the Enterprise D would go back in time to the Crimean War, and specifically to the charge of the Light Brigade, where, because that included forces of both the British and French armies, you would see an ancestor of Jean-Luc Picard take part in the fateful battle. It would be one of those sort of has to happen in history moments. This disaster has to happen for things to happen down the line. It helps Picard become a better commander, and because it was a complete and utter cluster F of mistakes that led to this, but it was the valor, it was the bravery, and it was the dedication of this armed force disaster that saw the Picards become even more steadfast in duty and in honor. But it would also feature Miles O'Brien, which makes his quoting of the poem in Favor the Bold and Sacrifice of Angels that bit more meaningful.
Nice little tie-in there. I like that.
Very nice.
All right, and last but not least, of course, that's Mr. Dave Nader.
Thank you, Jody. Okay, I'm going with the Renaissance, and more specifically, the Renaissance in Florence, Italy, around Galileo and the birth of science. And what are Starfleet officers? They're explorers. They're scientists. And in my first part 1, the Spark, the Enterprise D detects a temporal anomaly near Earth and discovers that Galileo's work is being sabotaged by a rogue alien species trying to suppress scientific advancement. So Picard, Data, and Beverly have to, get disguised and go back to Italy as scholars to investigate. There, Data is going to befriend Galileo and become his assistant, while Beverly uncovers a plague engineered by the aliens. In part 2, the aliens attempt to erase Galileo's legacy by framing him for heresy. Picard has to argue before the Inquisition to preserve history. Meanwhile, Riker and Geordi work to disable the alien tech causing the anomaly. And in the climax, Galileo delivers a speech with some subtle help from Picard that secures his place in history. So we got science versus superstition, the power of ideas, and ethical interference in history.
Wow. All right. Well, all of these are great. And I know I keep saying this, and you guys really kind of suck for making this hard for me. I was expecting just to sail through and call it a day, but I guess not. All right. Well, let's start up this round. I want to hear what you think about the others ones, and make sure you tell me why their plot points suck. All right. So let's hear it.
So I would like to start, boys.
Okay.
So
right.
Please
Ladies
don't
first. All right.
Don't censor the only woman on the podcast. Okay.
Wow, we're still going
So-
with this, are we? All right.
Your ideas may have.
I'm going to stop you there, Heather. Okay.
I'll allow it because it was funny. Your ideas have tie-ins with other episodes, tie-ins with other series, historical context, all of the things that we love about Star Trek and that make Star Trek great. However, my episode has Data and a Romulan on skis going downhill really fast through trees, shooting phasers at each other, which we really love about Star Trek.
What year in the 90s? I need to get more specific here. Like, what year?
It's the 90s. It's Stardate 90.
I think going to like Aspen in 91 is very different than going to Aspen in 99. Like, it's going to have just aesthetically at least.
Yes, well, it's the early 90s, and the neon influence of the 80s is still present.
I could actually, Joe, I could get behind that one, because the early 90s is such a very specific aesthetic as well. It's that kind of, we're not quite 80s, but we're not also proud enough to call ourselves 90s yet. So I'm kind of with you on that one. You see, the problem with my one is obviously mine is amazing and wonderful, but mine doesn't have Data and Romulan on skis.
Yeah, it's a big plot.
Yeah.
My problem with Sean's is that while I think it's an amazing pick, historical era outside of the box, it's like not very. It's not these events are not very familiar to like a North American audience, more specifically, and I think like
I'm North American and I know what he's talking about.
Well, but
you love war, Jody.
It's a little outside of like
famous warmonger Jody.
Yes, that's right.
Compared to like the Enlightenment and the Renaissance and the great like philosophers and scientists of that era, and I think that
so you feel yours is more accessible. I guess.
I think mine's more accessible. I think it's more historically, interesting. I think that Heather's is more it's how would it be much different than like the Voyager two-parter where they go back to like the 1990s, right? And where they fight Stardate.
Is there
I think she already
skiing in the
it.
Voyager episode?
There's
I don't
skiing,
think so.
okay.
She already touched on that, Dave.
But they're skiing in the 24th century, right?
Are they shredding the gnarly POW in the Voyager episode? No, they are not.
They might be impressed by like the ski suits, because we know like we saw like Wesley.
Well, in the 90s there was other powder too, but
yeah. They end up at a cocaine rave. But
no, that's a Star Trek
I'd like to
story
switch my answer, please. That's the second part.
I want to see Worf on
episode.
coke. That's what I want to see.
This is the après ski.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry.
Mine was always going to be a hard sell because it's depressing as hell, and I knew that.
That seems to be kind of your forte this week.
I've been hurt. So I'm going to just cast myself in the who do I support more? See, the problem with the Renaissance one is that they were going to do it. The original Star Trek First Contact was going to be Star Trek Renaissance, and they then said that it couldn't really make it work. So if you can make that story work, then Dave, I'm all in.
I know how it's going to work because you get Picard arguing before the Inquisition, and how good is Picard in a courtroom setting? That would give him a chance to give an amazing, soliloquy or monologue that is going to like tear the whole house down. It's going to be one of the great speeches of mankind. They're going to talk about it when he get back to the 24th century.
But what is he wearing?
That's important. Yeah,
the sexiest Renaissance.
And can he deliver the soliloquy on a ski ramp?
Because
if he can do that without maybe a hot Earl Grey chocolate, if that's such a thing, while Riker is clearly in a mankini skiing somewhere in the background. I mean,
now we're talking.
For me, it's a no-brainer.
That's you know what, Sean's helping you there, Heather.
I know.
Yeah.
They formed an alliance, I think.
I think they have formed an alliance.
This is like when the Klingons and the Romulans teamed up on the Federation. It won't last. It's gonna fall apart within years.
Why does
Dave
everyone
believes he's the Federation? Apparently,
it won't last. No, sorry.
I'm the Federation. This metaphor.
I really like Dave's. I really like it. I'm not going to give him the point, but I really like it.
What? You love it, Jody.
I wouldn't say I love it, but I do like it. I really like the Photoshop. I thought the Photoshop was exquisite. I don't know if you guys caught that, but
we did. I did.
You know what? Even though I was actually steering towards Sean actually helped Heather, and I think Heather's going to get the point for this one because I kind of do want to see aliens on phasers at people. I think that's not a bad play. I would watch it.
It was definitely the funniest pitch of these.
It was the funniest pitch. Yeah.
Sean's the needless slaughter of nearly 600 people wasn't funny to you?
Apparently not.
I want to see that. It was very interesting. Like I was really impressed by both of you because I'm like you're both bringing interesting historical eras that I wouldn't have thought of or wouldn't have occurred to me by myself. So yeah, well done.
Fair enough. All right. So just to recap, we have Heather with 2, Sean with 2, and Dave with 1. Dave, we're getting close to elimination, my friend. So you're gonna.
Good thing I brought the goods for the wild card.
Oh, the wild card's the hard one. All right, let's hear it. Well, we won't hear it yet because Sean's going first. Pick 2 characters and have the actors switch roles. Explain your change and why it would be better. And we're going to hear from Sean first.
Okay, for mine, what we're going to do is we're going to take Robert O'Reilly, who played Gowron, and we're going to take Patrick Massett, who played Duras, and we're going to swap them around. Because, you know, in the great scheme of history, don't worry, Worf still gets to kill them both, so it's fine. But
Just in different
the
order.
funny thing
Worf's still
is,
happy. All right.
there's actually like there's a couple of reasons. One is that I thought Patrick Massett was absolutely fabulous as Duras because he's so odious and so you know, kind of like you can't like him. That I really like him. And Robert O'Reilly is a very different take on that. He has that sort of, you know, you could like him some weeks, you could like him other weeks. But crucially, what Robert O'Reilly has is other roles in Star Trek where Patrick Massett doesn't. So you could flip the two of them around. Patrick Massett would then still get all of the Gowron episodes. Robert O'Reilly would get the 2 Duras episodes, but he would also get episodes like Manhunt, and he would also get episodes like Bada Bing, Bada Bang, and we would just then get more of Patrick Massett.
All right. I like it. All right. Next up, we now have Dave, who has promised us a very good answer. So let's hear it.
Like, I'm going for a very obvious natural selection here, and I'm going with Brent Spiner now as Q and John Delancey as Data. Okay. And why I'm doing this is because it's, I think, the most easy, natural one to do. Spiner's range could make Q a little bit more unhinged, a bit more unpredictable, a bit more villainous. I think Delancey's wit would give Data more of a quirky edge. I think both actors are brilliant. They're both physically very, like, to me, very similar. And you know, there's that scene in that one episode, where like John Delancey is made to look like Data, and you kind of go, you can see him totally playing this part. Mm-hmm. You know, and this would actually be an episode like where maybe Q does this as an experiment. You could have a plot for this and why this would happen. And then, you know, Q has to, we saw that episode where Q was like mortal, but imagine him navigating life as an android and what the observations would be for an omnipotent being coming from that standpoint. But even if you just didn't have like a storyline where these two are actually swapping, I think just like from a you know, fantasy casting point of view, this could be a really interesting thing.
All right. And last but not least, of course, is Heather and her cat.
I've got the assist. This is Captain, Sandwich, Captain Picard Velociraptor is this wonderful cat's name.
That is a hell of a name.
Meow.
Meow meow.
So my picks are 2 one-off characters, but I think it would be cool to swap Marta Dubois, who played Ardra in Devil's Due, and Bebe Neuwirth, who played Nurse Linnell in First Contact. I would have loved to see Bebe eat up this magical devil role, flirting with Picard, crushing bureaucrats' dreams, turning into a Klingon hose beast. She's got it all. I feel like her talents were wasted on the meek nurse / sex criminal role. No shade to Marta Dubois, who made a fine Ardra, but she would also be good in the nurse role, and Bebe would shine as Ardra. I love that episode, Devil's Due, and I love Bebe Neuwirth. I just think she would do such a good job in that role and bring maybe a little more menace to it than Marta Dubois did.
All right.
I just want to know if Worf put that in his log that he's like, I had to have sex with the nurse to get out. It was duty call.
It was Riker.
Or Riker, yeah, I know. Who did I say? Riker?
Worf.
Oh, sorry.
Riker definitely put that in his log. You know he's got a separate log.
Ringing it with hearts.
I actually don't think Riker even has a separate log for that. I think he just doesn't care. He just puts it in anyway. He's just like, oh yeah, by the way.
Sorry, is that not just Riker to a T? He doesn't care. He just puts it in anyway.
Just about.
Sean, you're killing me here. All right. All right. Well, all 3 of those are, again, good. One was unexpected, which was Heather's. I never would have thought of that one, but all right. And the other 2, I had thoughts of it. So obviously they're good picks as well. All right, guys. Well, it's time to start slamming each other, and that's not in the way that you think, Sean.
I said nothing. I said nothing.
Yeah, you were going to, though. I already knew. Anyway. All right, guys. Tell me why this isn't going to work. You know what? Dave is the one fending here, so let's let Dave start.
Well, I think mine is the most, like, natural and the most, like, that would have been really interesting to see because it's more than just, like, 1 or 2 episodes, like what this example would be with Sean with the 2 Klingon characters and Heather's, which is, you know, like, those are kind of forgettable side characters in some ways, right? And I think that the more interesting, thought-provoking version is mine, and therefore I should win, Jody. Just that alone, because it'd be like, yeah, I could see that. You know, I think that if we had not gotten Robert O'Reilly playing Gowron for those episodes, I think that would have been, you know, not a good thing. I don't think justice would have been served. I think Gowron was wonderfully played by Robert O'Reilly. I think Duras, he's a bit forgettable. I don't no shade to that particular character or that actor who played Duras, but I think they would have found another reason to bring him back in something else, and I don't remember them ever doing that. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right, guys, time to start jumping in on him. Make him earn it.
I am going to say Delancey has the range, Spiner doesn't.
Really? Okay.
Not to play Q. I think Spiner has this malevolence when he does comedy, not as Data. Data is a different type of comedy. But when Spiner plays, for example, I think of his portraying of all of the Soongs, there is this malevolence where Delancey is much more trickster. He's much kind of funnier. Well, there is a serious undertone. I mean, he can do serious as well. But I think Delancey could adapt to Data better than Brent Spiner could adapt to Q. Would be my argument against that there. And I do, however, Heather, like yours, because both one episode appearances, BB Newworth, I mean, just bring more cheers in. That's just going to be funny anyway. And also, I feel as great as Devil's Due is, I think poor old Marty just gets forgotten, I think, a bit in that role. Whereas even in flipping them, I don't know, I think it would be a little bit better. Also, that episode, First Contact, that scene has not aged well. She full on is a predator. It's not good. Yeah, just to defend my own choice a little bit, I really like them in the roles. I mean, I love Robert O'Reilly as Gowron. Please don't get me wrong. I would love to see that play, that switch on how the portrayal of the two Klingons are, and particularly, I know this is a TNG focus, but as we go into DS9 as well and see Patrick Massett's interactions with Sisko, and that kind of play off as well. I think there's more kind of room to play there.
All right. Heather, you got anything to say?
If we didn't have Robert O'Reilly as Gowron, we had never have gotten any of the memes that we got out of it. And that's a world with Gowron eyes memes is a world I don't want to live in.
Also true. Dave,
I mean, jump off the back of the ship now.
Dave, you got it. You got to defend it. Let's go.
I'm going to sign on to a lot of what Sean said, because I think that is true. I think that maybe Spiner doesn't necessarily have the range like Delancey, but I think that's why my example is the more interesting, thought-provoking choice of these three, and therefore should get recognition and accolades from the host, because I made the panel think.
You made the panel think. Okay.
Give the man his recognition and accolades.
I'm also on board with this.
All right, give it to Dave.
All right. He wasn't going to give it to you guys.
Actually,
no,
I was actually pretty close to giving it to him anyway, but both of you guys helped and hurt him at the same time.
Tiebreaker.
Yeah, apparently we have a three-way tie here. We gotta eliminate one. So the next question that comes up, all three of you will give us an answer off the cuff. Whoever says it first, they get to go first. The other two can wait. And we'll just pick one of the two. And then what will happen is I'm going to eliminate one person out of the two. So the two best answers on the next question are going to win, which is going to give us our two for the tiebreaker rounds. Okay. So this question I have absolutely no prior knowledge of. This is completely, I'm in the dark on this. So let's see where it goes. Do you got one for me here, Chris? We do.
Are we just jumping in and saying
whoever wants to say something first or wants to go first, they can start. Okay. And then
Okay.
I'll stop everybody else for that. Okay, so here's our tiebreaker question. Best of Both Worlds, Part 1, The Inner Light, and Chain of Command, Part 2. Which is the worst Star Trek TNG episode?
Best of Both Worlds, Part 1.
All right, so Sean, you can get to go first.
The Inner Light, I guess.
All right, so Best of Both Worlds, Part 1 is one of the best cliffhangers in Star Trek. No question, no hands down, that is absolutely fine. And it is a great episode of Star Trek, but the inner light is the inner light. I don't think that even needs to, we don't even need to go into that. Chain of Command Part 2 does one of the great things in Star Trek, which is it's a second part of an episode that delivers on everything Part 1 set up. It also has everything between Gul Madred and Picard. Remember, the bulk of that is Part 2, not Part 1. So the bulk of all of those interactions between Madred and Picard are in Part 2 of Chain of Command. You also get, I mean, you know, my boy Jellicoe is Chain of Command as well. So, I mean, that definitely helps an awful lot there. They're 3 great episodes. Again, I mean, I should give The Inner Light some time. The Inner Light is just an acting masterclass from Patrick Stewart, and also set up years in advance the theme tune for Star Trek Picard, which is taken directly from that episode. Best of Both Worlds, it is number 3 of 3 great episodes, but it is number 3.
Fair enough. Okay, so I heard Dave chime in after that. So Dave's going to do Inner Light as being the worst of those 3 episodes.
Yeah, and just to state, like, I like all 3 of these episodes. I think they're all amazing episodes of television. I think that The Inner Light is the least of them. I think that The Inner Light gets a lot more praise than it deserves. I think a lot of that comes from the little, you know, him playing the little flute at the end and everything else. And yes, his performance is good, but at the end of the day, those events don't really matter that much because, you know, they're kind of yada yada at the next moment. Like, whereas Best of Both Worlds, Chain of Command, these are events in the overall history of the Federation, of Starfleet, of the greater story that just matter a whole lot more. Best of Both Worlds Part 1 is stronger than even Part 2, in my opinion. And therefore, there's no way I can put it beneath Inner Light. And the same thing with Chain of Command Part 2, all that stuff with Madred. That stuff is amazing. So it's like, it's not that Inner Light is bad, it's just not as good as those 2. And therefore, I have to put it at the bottom of these rankings.
All right. Well, Heather, you get the last one left. So you have to tell me why Part 1 and Inner Light are better than Part 2 of Best of Both Worlds.
Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and The Inner Light are the top 2 episodes of TNG, in my opinion. Chain of Command, of course, is a fantastic episode, and I agree with all of the things that y'all said about it already. However, it is incredibly difficult to watch our hero being tortured over and over, physically, psychologically. He's just broken down to nothing. That is very upsetting to me. And for that reason, when I'm doing a watch through, I don't often watch that episode because it's really hard to watch. And I just think that there's so much to love and admire about Trek, and that is not high up on my list. It's an acting masterclass, but I don't want to see our captain get tortured. It's torture porn. Go watch Hostel. Get out of here.
I always like how you end your things, because you always take that last 5 seconds to just say something absolutely just out there, and I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done. This is hard because all of these I love. Well, actually, if I had to pick one I didn't like out of the other 2, I would probably say Inner Light, because I'm not a massive fan. I still think it's good, but I don't think it. I'm with Dave on that one.
Overrated.
Overrated is, I think, the key on that one.
And to riff off of what Sean said, the Star Trek Picard theme is like the worst of all of the Star Trek themes. Like,
how very dare you?
I'm swinging. I'm swinging hard.
He's fighting for it. He's fighting for it.
It sounds like well, it's got that Irish whimsical thing in it. Like,
so you hate Irish people now, do you, Dave?
With my own
I'm sorry, Sean.
So,
that was very rude.
It's all right, you know, Canadian, Commonwealth, Brit. I get it. You know?
We're all part of the same family, technically.
Now, I want to disagree that the Inner Light, the events of the Inner Light, aren't as impactful as the other 2 episodes. It's not yada yada. That reverberates for Picard through the entire series and beyond. It's not only him playing the flute, it's that we see who he is in his inner life, which we don't get to see a lot because he keeps that captain detachment. We get to see it later with Commander Nella Darren in Lessons, which is one of the most lovely episodes for Picard for character development. Now, it might not impact Starfleet as a whole, the Enterprise as a whole, but arguably it's one of the most important episodes alongside Tapestry for character development for Captain Picard. And I don't like how you dismissed it as the little flute episode, Dave.
It's a little flute episode, and I stand by it. It's the I think that like Best of Both Worlds is such a great episode, but part one in particular, because what everyone remembers Picard getting assimilated and everything else, but what's really amazing about that episode is the story with Riker and him trying to decide what he's going to do, and then him getting thrust into the captain role and having to fill the shoes of Picard, and him giving that order to fire on Picard at the end of the episode. Like, that is such a perfect episode. There's no way we could ever consider that the worst of these three. Like, it's
of these three. I mean, I must disagree, but I agree with saying the end of Best of Both Worlds Part 1. Agreed. I mean, it is up there. I mean, if you had to think best ending of an episode for Star Trek, it's going to be in the top.
It's a historic.
It is 100. It changed television. You know, like, I mean, it is that important. Of these three, now the two latter ones have the benefit of building from. So the Inner Light, you have that Picard. Yes, you are building on from his experiences with Locutus. Now, we know that the Inner Light doesn't stop to go, hey, remember that time with the Borg? It's from a different era of television where it didn't have to have the Borg every 5 seconds. And what you have then is, to agree with you, Heather, completely, it is this beautiful story of a life that he has to accept first. Remember, you have some of this episode where it's still very much Picard, you know, long before he's Kamen. And he is Kamen by the end of that, as much as he is Picard as well. It is just complete and utter wonderful acting experience from Patrick Stewart. But again, as we, the audience, understand Picard, we are with him on that journey. Going back to Best of Both Worlds, as fantastic as it is, and everyone is brilliant in that episode, a lot of it is set up. A lot of it is set up for payoff. That Best of Both Worlds Part 2 does a pretty damn good job of doing. But it's all leading toward that finale. Jumping then to Chain of Command Part 2, what you have is the culmination not just of an incredible preceding episode that sets up so much work done by Patrick Stewart and his work with Amnesty International, and about how they portrayed torture and how they did it accurately, and they wanted to make sure it was done accurately. But what you did is you also had the late great David Warner, who stepped in with about 2 days notice. That is one of the most amazing things about that as well, is that he had no...
And his performance is...
He is reading from cue cards. That is incredible. And just to see how that episode has landed. And also, Deanna gets her uniform in that episode.
That's true, she does. All right, this one's really hard, guys. And I know I've already said this a couple times, but you guys are really terrible at making it easy for me. So I hate to remove any of you, quite honestly, but I don't think the format allows me to take all three of you. So I'm going to have to eliminate somebody. This hurts. This hurts a lot. Heather, I'm sorry. As much as you did great, I want you to hold on to your cat and your sandwich, but I do want you to stick around.
Judge the last round.
I do want you to do that. Yes, absolutely.
Well, I'm going to do it whether you like it or not, Jody.
You know what? I would expect nothing less from you, Heather. All right. Anyway, congratulations, Sean and Dave. You're both moving on.
Add a little excitement, a little spice to your lives, and all you do is complain. Where's your adventurous spirit, your imagination?
That was me, by the way. I was lip syncing there. All right. Anyway, all right. We are back, and of course, we are now on this. Now, the speed round goes a little differently.
Now it's time for the speed round.
I didn't know that was there.
He had a remixed version.
Apparently, he did. Wow, he even had the little warp thing there. All right, Sean and Dave, if you're not familiar with this, basically, we are going to be putting a question up. Let me read the entire question. Once the question has been read, you guys can spurt out whatever answers. Sometimes they're this or that. You have to pick one of the two. If those are mentioned, pick one of the two. If not, it's an open end. You can say whatever you want. The first person to blurt it out gets to argue with it, and then we get to give a point to whoever I feel is the better argument. All right, we all ready?
Yes.
All right, first question, speed round. Speedrun movies: The Battle of Wolf 359, or the Klingon Civil War. Which would make a better movie?
Klingon Civil War.
All right, go ahead, Sean.
Easily. The Battle of Wolf 359 is incredible, wonderful, sure. One battle. Klingon Civil War, you have got the entirety of the Klingon fleet to play with. But not only that, what you get is Klingon versus Klingon. These are hardened warriors. These are people who are so skilled at battle. That's the entire point of the Klingon armed forces. What you could do there is so much scheming, so much setup for so much payoff. That is one of the amazing things about the Duras sisters. Love them or hate them, they were fun, they were interesting, and they won't be taken out by one sodding torpedo.
All right, Dave. Wolf 359, the movie.
Wolf 359, the movie. There's a lot that can be said there. Now, you gotta remember, the Battle of Wolf 359 can be told from like 16 or 17 different perspectives because you have that many starships involved in it, not to mention from the Borg's perspective on it as well, you know. And we saw in just those few glimpses on Deep Space Nine where we see it from Sisko's point of view, or there's that game Star Trek Borg where you get to like go back in time and play as like a crew member on a different ship during that battle. There are so many different stories and so many different versions that you could kind of tap into. I think that there's a real interesting way to do like a maybe in a 4 rooms format where you can kind of converge all of these stories, you know, coming in the end. Sorry, I'm going over time.
No, that's okay. All right, 15 seconds. You guys get to yell at each other.
Wolf 359, it's been done. You have got so many different versions of the battle. You've got so many different versions of the stories. There's incredible ones online. You can see them. You haven't got that with the Klingon Civil War. You have a largely untapped piece of material there to play with.
All right, Dave, same thing.
Like the Klingon Civil War, we already got that movie. It was the 2-parter with, you know, with Worf leaving the ship and coming back and everything with Gowron and the blockade. Like, it's already a 2-hour movie. It exists. Like, and the Wolf 359 was not shown on screen, mostly. And therefore, it would make more sense to do it as a film.
All right. Based on that, I'm going to go with Dave on this one, even though I did like Sean's answers, but Dave did it better. I don't know what this other timer is there. Oh, Jordy. You got to settle down, Jordy.
Yes!
All right.
Yes!
Yes! All right.
Yes.
Hopefully nobody falls
All
into the
right.
water. Yes, all right. There you go. All right, next question. Eventually. There it is. TV. You get a proper 3-episode crossover of the TNG crew with a recent Star Trek show. Which show are you picking, and how are they to cross over?
Wow. Okay. This is a speed round.
It is, apparently. Yeah.
I would cross over TNG with the original series.
All right, Dave, go.
Why am I picking that? Because I think that would be the most interesting. You got the original Enterprise crew, Kirk and the gang, and Picard. You know, these are the 2 most iconic Starfleet crews, and that's why it's the most natural to want to see them cross over. Star Trek Generations didn't give us that. We got a couple minutes with like Shatner and Picard.
Sorry, Dave. I'm gonna pause you there. It's with recent show, so basically anything after Enterprise, you gotta pick a recent Star Trek show.
All right, so now we're going to Sean.
All right.
And Dave can rethink his question and possibly rethink his life. All right, Sean?
For me, it's Star Trek Prodigy. I think that Prodigy is the natural next step in TNG's story as well, because it's so recent after the events of Nemesis. Plus, you have, for example, like, although this is early in the day, you already have Crusher is in Prodigy. I want to see what the rest of the crew are up to. We can have this story with a Titan in there. Obviously, we've touched on that in Lower Decks. But I want to see Picard starting to head up the Romulan evacuation effort. I want to see Geordie's efforts there as well. And more Raffi.
All right. I don't know if the more Raffi's going to win you points with me, but we'll see. All right. Anyway, Dave, do you got an answer?
Yeah, well, okay, then I would go with Lower Decks as my option here. I think that you can still have the TNG crew, but it could be the TNG crew, you know, Enterprise E era. You know, which would more directly correspond with the Lower Decks years, especially the first couple seasons. And I think, you know, having a crossover there with the storyline between the Cerritos and the Enterprise E having to do something together would be the most interesting. We saw the Cerritos work with the Titan. It would be, you know, natural for, and to show the Enterprise E in these years before, like, Picard left the ship, I think, you know, just would also be very interesting to do.
All right. So, Sean, you get a 15-second rebuttal to his question. So go ahead.
We see the Enterprise E in the final episode of Lower Decks, sure, but Prodigy already contains the canonical decimation of the Enterprise E. I want to see that story. I want to see Worf in command of the Enterprise E when they encounter the living construct, because it's been confirmed she was at that battle and she did get nobbled.
That's where it was destroyed? Oh, I didn't even know. I just learned something.
So yeah, she's there now. They also kind of said we may have had some fun with some graphics there. So could have been the Sovereign and the Enterprise E, but it is there. Enterprise E is there.
Either way, it's not Worf's fault.
Maybe. I'm gonna blame him anyway. All right, Dave, go ahead.
Prodigy would be more boring than my one. Mine would be funnier.
That's it.
Rebuttal.
That's all you got.
That's my rebuttal.
All right, Sean gets this point. All right.
Damn it! I thought that would win you over.
That clearly did not. Oh, there's Gordy again. All right, so I think just to recap, I think we're at 3-3 now. Yeah, we are. So we're not deciding anything yet. So let's keep going here. Hopefully we can. All right, next question. All right, music. You get to replace the Star Trek TNG theme song with a rock ballad reminiscent of Rod Stewart's Faith of the Heart, in which, by the way, the spelling mistake on that one too, producer. Which song do you choose to represent the next generation?
Total Eclipse of the Heart. It has to be Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay,
sing
so
it
right.
too. That'll get you extra points.
All right, so that is great. So first of all, you've got all of this turnaround stuff going around. Sure, that's just the Enterprise D flying by. You know, they remake the original series opening, but imagine that with Bonnie Tyler blasting it out over that lovely, lovely blue text. And also, I mean, I've already won. Come on, I've already won. It's Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart. It has to be. There's no other choice here. Yeah, there we go. You're welcome.
Damn it. Good choice,
Mr. Dave.
But you know what would be better?
Tell us, Dave.
I don't know. REO Speedwagon's, you know, that one they sing. I don't know.
That memorable song.
Just any REO Speedwagon song.
Yeah, their whole
The whole catalog, just whatever. Eh?
There's one I have in mind.
Sing it.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. It goes, turn around.
Turn around. That's a
I don't
Total
think
Eclipse
it's
of the
called-
Heart.
I know, Dave.
All right, well, I was hoping for something better from Dave, but I guess not.
Sorry, I blanked on this one.
Sean, you can use your time just to berate him if you want.
Well, how about this? Oh, rather than break your all of that on the double bass played by Riker.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
I'm there.
All right, I think Sean gets this one. Unless you want to take your 15 to give us an actual answer, Dave.
I don't got one, Jody. I don't know.
All right.
Rock ballad off the top of my head.
All right, fair enough.
You fucking rule! Rock and roll!
Okay, fair enough. All right, well, just to recap, Dave is now failing this channel, and he is now in the back. So we got to see what's going on here. All right, next question. Maybe. There it is. Sports. Which sport competitor is Riker losing to? O'Brien at darts or Worf at Enbo Jiu-Jitsu?
O'Brien at darts.
Say that one. All right, darts it is. Go for it, Sean.
Okay, right. Irish, so he's losing to O'Brien at darts. But also, Worf's wonderful, but Worf's an idiot. Like, Riker's going to beat him at Ambujitsu because also Riker's going to do the one thing Worf didn't learn, is how to play it. Like, Worf will just kind of growl, give away his position, Riker will win, end of story. However, O'Brien beat the genetically engineered Dr. Bashir at darts. He's going to win. While holding a Guinness in one hand as well.
This won't even be close, right? Riker's losing to Worf in Ambujitsu for many reasons. We just watched that episode not long ago where Riker, goes against his father, Kyle Riker, who at this time is like a senior citizen who is not in the best shape in his life, and he's getting schooled, by his father, partly because he's cheating. But Worf is winning bat-left tournaments, maiming competitors. He's one of the greatest melee fighters in all of Star Trek. There's no way he's not defeating Riker in Ambujitsu.
Listen, Worf came in 9th at that bat-left tournament, and everyone knows it.
That was in an
100%.
alternate reality.
Alternate your reality. In all of those examples we used, Worf was using his eyes. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, Worf, if it was a case of face-to-face, bat-left, all right, I think Worf might take that one. But I think Riker is cunning enough to get around Worf, sweep the legs out from under him, all while O'Brien still wins in the background.
Riker is a cunning linguist.
Worf's sense of smell is uncanny. He would be able to detect the Aqua Velva aftershave on Riker like it's nothing else, right? He'd be following that scent around and know exactly where just to hit him over the head with it, right? It's going
Worf was beaten by Ferengi.
So my bias aside on Worf, I'm gonna give this point to Dave, just for his argument. I loved it. Sometimes, Sean, things don't go the way that they should, and they go the way that I make them. All right, so it's just how it is. All right. Anyway, maybe it was a pity point. I don't know. We'll see. All right.
No way.
It wasn't.
He would never do that.
I don't do pity points. All right. Well, I guess we're back to 4-4, which means he might not actually fail his channel, but we'll see what happens.
That's right. For the glory and the honor of the Empire.
For the glory and the honor. All right. History. Which real historical figure featured in TNG had the most accurate and impactful portrayal of the show?
Albert Einstein.
All right, Dave, you get to go first. Tell us why.
Wait, it wasn't Albert Einstein. I mean Stephen Hawking. I'm sorry.
Okay, you can do that. That's
okay.
fine.
I meant Stephen Hawking. I'm like, that was not the real Albert Einstein in that episode. Yeah, Stephen Hawking. Him being one of the greatest, theoretical physicists of our lifetime, and him being on that show and being able to participate and his sheer joy, and it was obviously accurate and impactful because it's obviously the real person playing the holodeck version of himself. And I remember that being really noticed by a lot of different people outside who are not even Star Trek fans, and so it had a lot of impact at the time.
All right.
And
Sean, what do you have for us?
At the time he appeared on the show, he wasn't a historical figure. Whereas he was a very currently living person. Whereas Sigmund Freud, who appeared in, is it Phantasms? Season 7, who has been obviously disproved and proven to be a complete quack, was portrayed quite accurately in this. It was all about, it was one thing or his mother. And he was just such a sleazy character with the, all the smoking and everything. And of course, he was talking complete and utter nonsense to Data, which was it was still handled in such a way that was both accurate, but also sort of a little bit loving. It was on the safe side of mean, which Star Trek is quite good for doing. Whereas, unfortunately, Stephen Hawking, it's a great idea, but he wasn't a historical figure.
All right.
Well, you don't have to be dead to be a historical figure. It would be my rebuttal.
Also true.
And you have to have done something historically notable, which up to that point Stephen Hawking had, because that's why they asked him to be present in the episode and in the scene. And I think Data, including him, along with Isaac
you can finish your thought.
Isaac Newton and Einstein was just a really interesting collection of some of the most brilliant minds of their times.
Alrighty.
Including Data.
All right, I think I'm going to phone a friend here, so to speak. So, Heather,
Sean
I
has a
need
15-second rebuttal, sir, before.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that one. Excuse me. Never mind, Heather. I don't need you. Sean?
In terms of impactful as well, Freud was helping Data work with his dreams. Data's dreams led directly to the painting of his daughter, which led to the entire events of Star Trek Picard's first season. And it was in Data's somewhat dream state that we got that beautiful goodbye between Picard and Data.
All right. Well, that really didn't do much for me there, Sean. So I'm still going to call in my phone a friend, which is Heather. Heather, what's your take on this? Where do you think we should sit on our voting on this one?
I'm afraid I'm not going to be much help to you, Jody, because I agree with Dave, but I think that Sean argued better.
All right.
I also agree with Heather on that.
All right.
So no help from phone a friend.
So honestly, you guys are all.
An accent. Like
He's charming and he has an accent. That's what.
Listen, Dave, take off your pants, and maybe we'll see if you get more points.
Number one, you should never assume Dave has his pants on. All right,
and
never.
I don't.
And he doesn't.
For the record.
And as for Sean, we already know he probably doesn't have pants on. All right, but we'll leave things to the imagination. All right. Mm-hmm. Anyway, please. Anyway, I'm giving you both a point. I can do that.
Wow. You want to go to the wild card?
I think the wild card's going to break this up, I guess. Yep. All right. Well, I'm giving it to you both because honestly, I can't pick either one of you because both of them had pretty good things. I do agree. I think Sean did have the stronger argument. However, Dave really did come back on you on that historical figure thing.
100%.
So,
yeah,
he fought for it, so I'm gonna give you both the point.
All right.
Even though I'm not sure I'm allowed to do that, but I'm the host and whatever.
You can do it.
All right.
You threw me a curveball because I didn't have a sound for that. So
a sound for what?
Dong dong.
We still can get applause.
Oh, whatever. Doesn't matter. All right. Anyway, last question. Hopefully.
They're cheering for us, Sean. They're
now,
happy we both got a point there.
Producer, do we have another question on standby if in the event that they do end up tying on this one too?
I mean, if you somehow give them both a point for the next question, then yeah, there is a tiebreaker set up for that.
But I don't want to
really like if you didn't do that.
Yeah, well, it also makes the show run long, and Sean's got things to do, I'm sure, and everybody else does too. All right, well, let's just try to finish this up and figure out who really is the winner here. All right, last question. Wildcard. Given the current trends in streaming and nostalgia, would a reboot of Star Trek The Next Generation be a successful hit or a catastrophic failure?
It would be a failure.
Okay, you kind of both said it at the same time.
I really heard them both at the same time say failure.
All right, Heather's going to pick a number. Heather's going to pick a number between 1 and 10. So, Heather,
9.
let me know when you have that. Well, no, you can't tell me it yet.
9.
No. They have to guess the number that you're going to pick.
Guess the number, Heather.
Oh, I see.
So now it can't be 9.
9? Okay, not 9. It's not 9.
It has to be in your head, Heather.
Okay.
All right.
I'm doing it on my fingers.
Okay, your fingers. Okay, Dave, pick a number.
8.
All right, Sean, pick a number.
4.
All right. Oh, it was 4. Okay, Sean gets it. Or she might have just did that because she's got a bit of a crush on
I picked 4 because it's Beyonce's birthday. It was just Beyonce's birthday, FYI, everyone.
Oh, that I didn't know, nor did I care. All right, anyway, let's go. Sean,
I think it would be a failure because we're already edging into a reboot of a reboot territory in Star Trek at the moment. We had the Kelvin films rebooting the original series, and there's now talk of a year 1 series as well. I think that the idea of a reboot is beginning to, it's sort of running its course, but we also now have Picard season 3. We have more or less finished the story of the Next Generation with the characters as they are now. It's too recent to now do a reboot as well.
All right, Dave, I guess you're arguing for it.
I love this idea of a reboot, Jody. I think that basically all of the work on Next Gen is kind of pointless. It's so old now. It's from like the 80s and 90s. Who would want to look at that anymore? The special effects aren't the same, and like it's all crappy. Who cares about actors from like the 80s and the 90s when we have like modern actors? Like that would be way better. And like you can't watch these old Next Gen episodes with the bad special effects and the tight uniforms and the 80s decor. Dumb.
All right, Sean, tell us why his answer isn't good.
Well, see, the problem is that I agree with every word he's just said. I think it was a strong point, well made. Unfortunately, I think it's done, and it's done very well. But as my initial point of it's very recent, we've seen that crew again. I think it's a bit too recent.
Yeah, right, Dave.
The young audience now, they don't want to watch a bunch of old, washed-up actors. They want some young, sexy people, like, making googly eyes at each other. And we can't do that with the old crew. We need new actors, like from the like some CW show or something that we're gonna bring in here to you know, make it modern.
Honestly, Dave, I was going for you until you said CW. And that kind of hurt you a little bit because I can't recall anything. I know you were. And I also know you're fighting something that you clearly do not agree with.
You poor man. It was like, there is only one answer to this question, you poor man.
Yeah, this is like when Riker had to argue in Measure of a Man and he didn't want to, you know. But you had to.
Yeah, true. Oh, Heather, I am so glad.
Everything has brought us to this moment.
Everything comes back to the slide whistle. Everything. All right. It hurts me. It does hurt me. But there has to be a winner. And unfortunately, the winner is not the person who I actually wanted it to win. It is now Sean. I'm sorry, Sean, but you are now the winner. And the reason being is because I liked his answer until he decided to throw that in. And then I'm like, screw you, Dave. I don't want no next-gen reboot with some CW crap in it.
Was I actually like selling you?
You were selling me until you said that.
With conviction. Absolutely.
You were saying it with conviction, which has always been your strong point. However, I try to be as unbiased as possible, and in this case,
I meant none of it for the record.
Sean got lucky though because he did pick 4, and that was the number. So literally, this could have went completely the other way, just based on literally blame Heather's hands. That's really what it comes down to, and her slide whistle.
Well, she was so adamant on 9. I felt like 8 was a good guess. So.
Well, I think it would have been 2. But anyway,
congratulations, Sean. Well done.
Congratulations, Sean, and everybody who fought well.
Awesome.
And I also want to point out that somebody in the comments did say that Heather should have been stayed in because she would have got the music question that both of you did.
You know what? I would have come up with something else on the fly, but now I can't think of anything else because Total Eclipse of the Heart really was an inspiring.
I was mostly intimidated by that because I was like, man, that's a great answer.
Well, you can't think of any other song when that song's running.
And then you're kind of like, what's better than that? And then
at the end of the credit as well, you just like, it pans around Data, and he just goes, "Turn around, bright eyes,"
and a single yellow tear falls from his eye.
Well, I do want to thank you all. Exactly. I want to thank you all, including yellow tears, trumpet, various other things, including slide whistles, and of course, answers. You guys were all fantastic, and I had a blast. This was fantastic, and I don't think I've giggled in a while for that much. So thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. Mr. Producer, what do we have going here now? What do we do?
Well,
can we blame it?
It's bucket or nothing! Surprise your friends, amaze your family, annoy perfect strangers! It's absolutely nothing. Free for only $99.99. That's it! You're getting dismantled!
That's what Sean wins this episode.
Sean, you won a bucket. Oh, nothing.
Did you know what any of that was, Sean?
Yeah, reboot. Yeah, I remember that from the 90s. Because I remember thinking it was a fever dream for a while. It was like, there's no way this show existed. Because it had been like years and years and years. And then it was like
say that because I had that exact same conversation with somebody a while ago.
It was just like, I don't know.
They're like, oh, that actually existed? I'm like, yeah, no, totally did. I have it on DVD.
I had action figures from it. I remember it. And then it was
I grew up watching it. Yeah. I was on the reboot Trivial Debates, and then I was there with all the heavyweights, and I was like, I haven't watched this in 30 years. But here we go.
It was a year ago, roughly around this time, that they released the Reboot Rewind documentary, an 8-part series about Reboot that explains the history of it. You can watch it all on YouTube. I highly encourage everybody to watch it. It's an amazing documentary.
That does sound good. Hopefully you can throw the link in the chat and all.
I can definitely throw the link in the chat.
All right.
So with that, thank you everybody again for taking part in this Trivial Debates.
Thank you, Chris,
Sean.
Again, this was so much fun. I really enjoyed all of you.
Before I get to signing off, I'm just gonna throw it up here. This was the tiebreaker question. Is anybody curious?
Oh, okay. I do want to know it. All right, let's hear it. All right, the Enterprise D is challenged to an interstellar decathlon by an alien species. Which non-bridge crew member is the most valuable player, Chief O'Brien or Lieutenant Barclay?
Obviously O'Brien. Reason 1, Irish. Reason 2, darts.
And kayaking.
Kayaking.
Sean, she really knows how to impress you, doesn't she?
First of all, Heather, I love you. Never change.
We say that all the time.
Barclay, because his shoulders are more likely to stay undislocated.
Oh,
That's true. And also, there's a lot of trauma in O'Brien, so mind you, he didn't have too much trauma at this point. But
How are you going to get Barclay out of the holodeck playing with the goddess of empathy? Like, he'll never leave.
Tell him that if he stays in the holodeck, he has to interact with a real human being.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, let's
But also,
sign this
Heather is
off.
absolutely right, and she should win.
Let's sign this off. We've been at
Well,
this
I
for
haven't
a
heard
minute.
Dave's answer yet.
Oh,
Like,
Come on now.
why O'Brien and Barclay specifically? Is
Because
kind
it's
of,
funny.
I don't know. That's funny.
Like,
You can
like,
pick. You can if there's somebody in
Picard
mind.
won the Academy Marathon as a
But
freshman.
Non-bridge crew member.
Non-bridge crew.
Non-bridge crew member.
Well,
See, this is why you didn't win, Dave.
Guinan might play tennis. We're not sure. So,
Yeah.
we can
Well,
sort
she's
of-
a beast on the phaser range. We know that.
true.
Yeah,
so she
she
be great at
would.
the javelin,
Yeah.
you know, or something like that.
Is there a this event? Because she's really good at that.
The 10 events of the decathlon. There's shot put, but
She could do that.
yeah.
All right, let's sign this off. Sean Ferrick, our glorious winner and champion. Where may the people find you and your?
Thank
future
you very
endeavors?
much. This was loads of fun. I'm on TrekCulture. We're everywhere. We're behind you right now. But yeah, so TrekCulture on all the socials. TrekCulture YT on Instagram, and then I'm at Sean Ferrick everywhere as well.
Yeah, fantastic show you guys got there.
Thank you very
Always,
much.
always good.
I will
Thank
watch
you.
stuff.
I
down
always
for
enjoy your
the
lists
day.
and everything. Yeah, it's great. And what about Dave?
Yeah, where can we find you and your future endeavors?
Well, you can find us on Live Long and Podcast. We are on all the time doing reviews of episodes. We do long format reviews largely, where we watch an episode and we talk all about it. Often much longer than the episode proper. And so we are in currently we're doing a show called For All Mankind, which is created by Ronald D. Moore, and we are in the 3rd season now. Tomorrow we're doing season 3, episode 2. It's called Game Changer. And right now we're also reviewing Star Trek Strange New Worlds season 3. We got, I think, 1 episode left coming up.
Yeah, we have the final.
Thursday
Yep.
for the finale. When that wraps up after this week, we'll be returning with our Star Trek: The Next Generation episode reviews every Thursday. starting
Ironically,
with,
doing season 3.
yeah, season 3. We're coming back for after taking this break for Strange New Worlds. So look out for that and all our other great shows on Live Long and Podcast.
And Heather, where can we find you?
And your future
I
endeavors?
can be found charming people on Live Long and Podcast episodes. And I do the For All Mankind podcast as well. And if you would like to listen to some music played by a bunch of drunken sluts, look up my band, The Galpines, on Spotify.
You know what? You sold me. I'm adding it right after this.
FYI, not safe for work or children.
And it's 5 a.m. where we start over here in
Oh,
Australia. Wow, we got fans in Australia today.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
cool.
Mick recently jumped into one of our podcasts, and
That's
he's
right,
been
yeah.
around ever
He
since. So
found us on, was it For All Mankind? Or
I think it was For All Mankind, yeah. Oh, no,
Well,
maybe it was
glad we're
Strange New World.
entertaining you.
Yeah, but either way.
To our host Jody, where can the folks find you and your future endeavors?
The same place that Dave is, basically, as well as Heather, except for her band, which I'm hoping one day they will let me in to be an honorary slut, but, we'll see what happens. But, past that, yes, I'm on Live Long and Podcast as well, and when I'm not doing that, I'm probably watching some of Sean Ferrick's videos and some of Worldmind stuff as well, because Worldmind also has stuff as well on the go.
Yeah, well, I won't get into me because, I'm just a guy. You can find me at Worldmind on things, and you can always find me here at Trivial Debates, where we'll be back next month on an episode that has yet to be discussed with me because I believe Jody and Adam wanted to do something.
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about.
So we'll possibly discuss that. I'll figure something out.
And
Either
then,
way, subscribe.
Chris, in November,
In November, It's gonna be Babylon 5.
Babylon 5. That's right.
Yes, I've got 2 people in mind. One of them including Dave. I need to find 2 more people for that episode, including a host. I assume Dave. Do you want to be a host or do you want to be a contestant?
I'll do either. You gotta get Jeff Aiken too for that, I'm sure.
That's going to be difficult because only 8 people in the world like Babylon 5 enough to podcast about it.
Exactly.
Well,
that's very true.
I know.
Babylon what?
I know 100% I can get Jennifer Lee Rossman on for that episode. She's going to be great for that one.
The good news is Chris and Dave between them know the 8 people.
Like Justin Velociraptor would also be a good choice.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Justin would be great. Yeah, let's go. All right.
Why don't you decide this offline?
I'll figure this out.
I didn't mean this as like a production meeting, but like
number one.
Damn it. I'm trying to end the show.
Sean's tea is cold now, and this is not good.
All right, listen, you know where to find us. If you agree with any of these questions or answers, leave your comments. Please let us know if you agreed with any of our judges' decisions, great or poor.
And Sam, we're coming back next Thursday. Not this Thursday, but the following Thursday.
Following Thursday.
TNG.
Yeah. But,
I'll play us out, fellas. Thanks for everything.
I can't even hear it. Oh, there it is.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.